Well, it's time for Media Watch now. Emma James is with us in the studio. It's good to have you with us, Emma, as always. You're going to start with some online reaction to the new French Prime Minister. Emmanuel Macron unveiled his choice today. He's a self-proclaimed man of the right.
Yes, indeed. And it's been long awaited, this one, because, of course, Emmanuel Macron would not reveal who he wanted as his choice for Prime Minister during the campaign. And even today, he kept us waiting for quite a few hours until finally the name Edouard Philippe was made public. Now, the cartoonist, has come up with this image, likening it to the Lion King, presenting Edouard Philippe holding him aloft. Of course, the words of the song there with Emmanuel Macron and his wife standing behind. In keeping with the Disney theme, this Twitter user says 6 hours of waiting for 10 seconds of pleasure. It's like Euro Disney, because there was originally supposed to be an announcement early this morning, and then it dragged on well into the afternoon. Some people even thought he might have forgotten what he was supposed to be doing. This person imagining a conversation between Emmanuel Macron and his wife saying, Brigitte, I forgot to do something this morning. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe he hadn't made his mind up.
Well, perhaps you do wonder if there was a little bit of last-minute wrangling going on there. It's a possibility. For the staff as well of the outgoing Prime Minister, Bernard Cazeneuve, it was a long wait. Clara Poulsamore tweeting, 4th hour of captivity, don't forget us is the hashtag there. And this another advisor to Bernard Cazeneuve posted this gif of a cat filing its nails as they waited for news. Gilles Klein from Atlantico, the French version of the magazine, said that given that we are told there will be a heat wave tomorrow, he said, but the newsrooms here in France have already been boiling since this morning because there was real great excitement and everyone was waiting for news. L'Express tweeted this. We've just entered the 5th hour of waiting for the announcement of the Prime Minister, with a gif there of former Prime Minister Manuel Valls looking very, very impatient about something there. And they were so starved of news to give people that BFM TV in particular came in for some criticism and some amusement, really, after they actually pursued the taxi that Edouard Philippe was in.
Oh, yes, this is a bit of a trend in France, isn't it?
Journalists it is,
like to follow cars with
journalists
politicians inside.
On motorbikes with cameras following vehicles. As this Twitter user says, they're following the taxi of Edouard Philippe without knowing whether or not he's going to be named Prime Minister.
Right, he might have just been going for lunch or something.
Exactly. Well, as it turned out, initially he was actually just heading to his office at the Assemblée Nationale. So that was another reaction from another journalist there. For G7, the taxi company involved, though, it was a moment for a bit of self-promotion, a chance to do that. We're proud to have driven the Prime Minister to his new destiny with all our congratulations, and note the hashtag #ILoveG7.
Great opportunity there. Well, what more do we know about the new French Prime Minister, other than he's very tall and he's not a member of Emmanuel Macron's political party, which is odd.
No, it is odd when you consider that all of the candidates who are due to stand for En Marche, or La République En Marche, as it's now called, were told they couldn't have affiliation to any former parties. But anyway, lots of articles out there talking about Edouard Philippe, explaining who he is and why he's been chosen. He is a conservative, as the Telegraph here points out that this could be Emmanuel Macron really looking to broaden his appeal. They say he has close links to Alain Juppé, which could draw more defectors out of Les Républicains. Juppé has himself said that Mr. Philippe has all the necessary qualities to be Prime Minister. But there are also plenty of other articles giving us a rather different take on Monsieur Philippe. And it appears he is quite a sporty figure, very into swimming, boxing and football, Bruce Springsteen and even Star Wars. So quite a different character.
He's into Bruce Springsteen. He's a fan.
Yes, he's been tweeting about Bruce Springsteen. And if you're wondering just how much he actually gets involved in boxing, well, this video has been posted online of him training. I'm not sure when it was filmed, but it's been posted just yesterday, I think, as the rumours started to circulate, really, that this could be France's next Prime Minister. A rather unusual vision to take.
Might need those skills in his new job.
Absolutely. BuzzFeed tells us as well that he's also the co-writer of a political fiction novel called In the Shadow.
It's the French Jeffrey Archer. Excellent.
Something like that. And it's a little bit saucy too. There's a particular excerpt that they've printed on BuzzFeed which talks about the fact that after a night of sex, a good indicator of whether a relationship's going to be any good is the breakfast. And he says his general rule is not to have breakfast with a woman after sleeping with her. It's insupportable, unthinkable, really, I suppose you would translate that as. I sleep with them, I go home, and it's finished. Now, of course, that is fiction.
This is a character in his novel. I was going to clarify that.
That is his modus operandi when it comes to the ladies. But it's just a funny little insight into the man who we're now supposed to take terribly seriously. On a more serious note, though, lots of people pointing out that he actually abstained from voting when it came to the law that was going to legalise gay marriage here in France. He was one of 5 abstentions. Other things to note are his previous comments about Emmanuel Macron, and these could cause considerable embarrassment right now. This is a tweet from back in 2014 when Emmanuel Macron was appointed economy minister under François Hollande, and he refers to him as a former banker of Rothschilds, and look at the hashtag finance, enemy finance. Now, you could say that's an old tweet, so maybe his views have changed. Well, this article was written in January 2017 for Libération, the left-leaning French newspaper. And this will make disturbing reading, I think, for Emmanuel Macron and his people. I hope they've seen it already. But he says in this article that for some people he's like the son of JFK, but without as much charisma. For others, he's more like Brutus, the adopted son of Julius Caesar, who of course had a key role in the assassination of Caesar. The quote that I lifted from here, which I just thought was amazing given how closely these two will now work together. Macron, who takes responsibility for nothing but promises everything,
Ouch.
with the enthusiasm of a young conqueror and the cynicism of an old truck driver.
Oh, Emma, I'm sure he'll be thrilled that you've dug that one up. Thank you very much indeed. Emma James there with MediaWatch.